for inviting us back to your lofts today, and especially for bringing us up into your stock loft. Could you tell us a bit about your setup, please?
Well, it's quite simple. These are all single breeding pens. All my pigeons are put in single breeding pens. Simple reason is I need to be guaranteed the parentage. I have to wait for a year to 18 months before I can get them into 500 mile. So I don't have them in open nest boxes because a cock could trade a hen 4 boxes down, breed you a national pigeon. You think you're breeding off that pair of pigeons for 10 years, you still don't get any more winners, and the father of it is not the pigeon it's meant to be. So in my single breeding pens, the cocks go in at the start of just before a pair up. They get 3 weeks to settle themselves in the single pens before I introduce the hens. So the reason being is I'm guaranteed the parentage, whether the young ones are good or bad, and if I do breed super pigeons out of those pens, I know for fact that that's exactly what they're out of, so I can keep that pair together or vice versa.
I've noticed here you've got all these little close pegs on the doors. What do those actually mean?
That's a secret James Bond could only tell you. No, all joking aside. What happens is when the young ones hatch and they're 7 or 8 days old and I put the rings on, I put a close peg on the wire pen. So when I do this, when I feed the pigeons on the close pegs here at eye line, I know those pair of young ones are wrong. Because with single pens you're not in them all the time, and it's so easy to make mistakes and bring a superior pair of young ones out with no rings on them. And I want them all raced to 500 miles. So out comes the young ones, on goes the closed peg. The young ones are wrote into the book. When the young ones are reared and they're leaving the nest, the closed peg comes off and goes on the door. There's nothing there the next round. That's the reason for the closed pegs.
Simple solution, but
keep it simple because
very effective.
They make it too complicated, you can make mistakes.
A very costly mistake.
Costly mistake for me because every pair of pigeons here must go to France, irrespective.
Okay. In your last video, you talked a bit about how you pair it up. Now we're standing out here beside your pens. Could you basically possibly show us some of them and explain why you've paired those pigeons together?
Well, on the first video I explained to you, I tried to explain a little bit about single tail feathers and about balanced muscle and about small to medium. And now I want to try and help the fanciers to understand a bit about breeding. How I find breeding, not how everybody else finds, just on my system and my way of breeding. And it's quite simple. This is a blue hen. Her father won the King's Cup. Her father's a very famous pigeon called Champion Moyo. First Open King's Cup, 8th Open Year National. She's small to medium. In fact, she's more on the small side. I'll explain to you why she's going to the cock she's going to. Because she's small, well balanced, dagger shaped flights for long distance, which I like, so the wind flows over the wing rather than catching the wing. Because the young ones of this pigeon's going to have to stay in the wing for 15 to 17 hours. And if it catches too much air, it's going to create drag. So thin, narrow flights. She's shallow, just like a wee tennis ball. She's not very big, but she's round muscled. She's fine in the head, so she's not causing drag. And she's got a single tail feather. Look at that, beautiful. Balanced on both sides. She's the perfect hen for the cock that I'm about to show you, the reason why she's being paired to. So her father won First Open King's Cup. Her mother bred Second Open King's Cup, bred the Hall of Fame winner, bred 4th Open Friendship National, 35th Open Friendship National, 37th Open Friendship National, all hard races. The night that the pigeon was 4th Open, there was only 7 home. We had 2 of them. We finished 2nd and 10th. So that's the reason why this hen's going to be paired to the cock that she's being checker cock she's paired to. His sire is Moyo again, First Open King's Cup, 8th Open Year National. And the mother of this pigeon was the 8th Open King's Cup as well. So that's First Open King's Cup, the First Open King's Cup, 8th Open King's Cup that bred 2nd Open King's Cup, paired to mother of 2nd Open King's Cup.
Performance
you
all
can't
the way.
Get any better than this. And this is what you have to strive for. This cock is slightly on the big side, and this is the reason why he's paired to such a small tiny hen, to try and get them balanced. because if I pair them to something over average, he's going to breed them ginormous. And even though their brain and their breeding wants them to fly 500 mile, they're going to struggle because they're too big to fly in northwest winds 15, 17 hours in the wing. And this is the reason why I have to pair them to a very small hen, small to medium. Now this cock is an extremely heavy eye, he's heavy gold, and the last wee blue hen he's paired to has pearl eye. I'm trying to keep the eyes strong without pairing heavy eyes to heavy eyes and pearl eyes to pearl eyes to break them wishy-washy. I'm trying to keep them strong and the circle around the pupil intact. He has a tremendous wing, this cock. And once again, he's been in the bath, single tail feathered. And the muscle is just hanging off him. He'll be a wee bit big for me, but that's the reason why I'm trying to mould him into a better shape for to fly long periods of time.
And what do you have here now, Paul?
This is a lovely hen called Snow Queen. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful hen. She's small, the medium once again, just like the last hen. She's a pearl-eyed pigeon. So she is, so she needs pearl to have a strong eye, to keep the eye strong. She's got typical distance wing, 4 end dagger flights, a beautiful single tail again, nicely balanced, which will give you a balanced muscle. Her father is a different first Open King's Cup winner. Her father won the King's Cup in 2013, and on that night we had 5 in the first 120 in the King's Cup in the Open. Actually they come in from all different directions, which was a nightmare. I was looking over the front of the bungalow for them, they're coming in from behind me. Now, her mother is an S-mate of First Open Friendship National. That's a beautiful hen. And she's just my type. Small to medium, corgi, flying big hours of a First King's Cup winner paired to an S-mate of a First Open Friendship National winner. They're all 400, 450, 500 mile. They're the best pigeons in Ireland. Couldn't ask for any better.
Flying some of the hardest race routes in the world.
Oh my goodness, flying from France to Ireland, 15, 16 hours in the wing, in cold winds, hard seas, low to the water, is extremely difficult. People, Irish pigeon fanciers don't give their pigeons enough credit. I worship the wings these pigeons have, because it's so difficult to get them to do this.
I think none of us would want to face it ourselves, sure we wouldn't.
I took boys to Blackpool down to the pier to look at the big grey ocean, and I says, boys, look, I put you in a dinghy and 2 oars and then grey waves and see how would you perform. Scared the life out of the boys. But for pigeons to fly into Ireland out of France is a miracle on its own. Never mind to be in the top 2%, top 1% of the race.
The backbreeding in these pigeons, Paul, is absolutely magnificent. Like King's Cup winners everywhere.
Well, every pen in this place has to have a first and second King's Cup, second and fourth Friendship National, brothers and sisters the second and fourth Friendship National, brothers and sisters the first King's Cup, gold medal winners, Hall of Famers. For me to be flying successfully at 500 mile and to get the amount of pigeons we get home, every pen has to have that calibre of pigeon. Now don't get me wrong, it's very expensive, but if you start off in the right foot, don't spend a lot of money on buying great-great-grandchildren of this, that and the other, because your watering down varieties is not going to get the success you need. Buy 3 pair of quality ones and breed yourself 25, 30, 40 different double grandchildren and great grandchildren and race them all. But if you buy 10 at £50, you're looking for a Walt Disney story, and it's hard to get those sort of stories. To be at the top of the game, in the top 50, top 100 and national level, they come from national winners. National winners breed national pigeons. Club winners breed club winners. If you want to strive for national level, you must have that type of pigeon.
And what have you got her paired to?
She's paired to her own half-brother. I'll show you him now. Her half-brother is out of First Open King's Cup. When the King's Cup was paired to Second Open King's Cup. So what you have here is First Open King's Cup paired to the nestmate of First Open Friendship National. The cock she's paired to is out of the same King's Cup winner paired to Second Open King's Cup. and that was a daughter of 8th Open King's Cup, which is a half sister to the hen next door, the first pen.
Absolutely fantastic.
So that's half brother and sister mating again. The first pair is half brother and sister mating again till 2 first other King's Cup winners.
You're not going to get any better, sure you're not?
No, well, if I could find it, I would have it. This is the Checker Cockatch's pair top. His sire is first Open King's Cup. Same sire as Snow Queen. Now, the mother of this is second Open King's Cup. So that's first Open King's Cup and second Open King's Cup paired to first Open King's Cup and the nest mate of first Open Friendship National. That's only 2 pens. These pens are full of that type of pigeon.
How many pens do you have, Paul?
There is 61 pens. There's 61 direct children of first open, second open, fourth open, second open, fourth open, no further back than 8th Open King's Cup. Every single pen has Queen of the Rain, son of Queen of the Rain, second open, son of Extreme Heat, fourth open, daughter of Extreme Heat, fourth open, daughter of Tough Lady, fourth open. Policeman's the father of them, direct children of all them here. There's, I don't know many gold medal winners, sisters of gold medal winners, Hall of Fame winners. Every single pen is doubled up of half brother and sister matings. That's just the way we breed them here. We don't do great grandchildren.
It must be very hard to decide what to keep and what not to keep.
It's very hard to decide what to pair together because there's so many different options you have. It's absolute nightmare. So what I do is, if I have got 4 of Queen of the Rain and Extreme Heat, and Tough Lady on Extreme Heat, I make sure that their eyes don't clash by trying to get them heavy to light and dark, you know what I mean? And try to keep the colours dark as well if possible. But breeding time leaves me sleepless nights, twisting and turning all night in bed, changing matings, trying to get it right, and then you send it to the races, hopefully you've done your job.
Is this not a wee bit early for you than normal?
It's been a disaster for me this year. I've had broken eggs and damaged eggs and blank eggs because I don't pair up to April. And a lot of my distant pigeons aren't interested in pairing up. And I just went early this year for the kids, and I think I've made a mistake. Should have waited the next month like I normally do, and a very few damaged eggs or blank eggs. But I've done it now and I have to stick with it. I'm building some new pens because I have 24 nest boxes with children of the best, and they're fighting the place out, and I don't have the patience for it anymore. So I'm going to build new pens and put those children in the pens, because my kids walk up here to feed them. They can feed these pigeons your suit on, especially the single breeding pens. Anybody that's serious about pigeons, even if they've 4 single breeding pens, they can take the eggs from them and float them, and they're guaranteed the parentage.
Well, the best thing about the single breeding pens, you can even put them in your garage or your shed,
Well,
so you wouldn't have to have them in your loft.
I have a friend at the minute, and he has through the wife's car to the garage because she doesn't use it. So there's 18 single breeding pens going into his garage, and he's going to put 18 stock pairs in them, and he doesn't need half the rest of the stock pairs because he'll be guaranteed the protege. He takes 3 round of youngins off them and away he goes, and when he wins, he knows exactly what they're off.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's the criteria here. We have to know exactly what everything's off, because if you pull a big national win, like if I hadn't had Queen of Rain's parents and single breeding pens, she could have been a direct daughter of something else, and I could have been breeding that pair for years and going, why is there no more coming out of them?
And the worst thing is, you might have got rid of the real parents.
You might have got rid of the real parents, and you know, this is what happens. You know what I mean? And eggs of Queen of the Rain and my top stock pigeons, I do not throw out. They're too valuable. So if I have younger stock pigeons, direct children, I use them for feeders, direct children of the national winners, to make sure that the last round of eggs is reared, and then they're split up. Can't afford to throw eggs out because your next national pigeon, Queen of Rain, come out of a 5th round egg. Extreme Heat was 4th open, come out of a 5th round egg. Tough Lady was come out of the nest 1 week before Christmas, which was 4th open Friendship National. She was carrying every single nest flight.
That's only 7 months old.
7 months old, and there was only 11 home in 3 days.
Unbelievable.
And that's just the way it is. And if I had threw those 5th round of eggs out, I wouldn't have had Queen of the Rain and Tough Lady or Extreme Heat. The other ones were in the prizes, yes, on different races and budes and Penzances and the opens and sections. But at the end of the day, I can't afford to throw eggs off King's Cup winners and second nationals, third nationals out in the bucket. Can't do it.
Well, the birds you have here in the loft, you know, are a credit to anybody, and you'd go a long way to find another loft with the same kind of quality anywhere, wouldn't you?
Well, not a lot of lofts. There's a few lofts in the country that has phenomenal pigeons. There's no doubt about it. But the serious pigeon fancier who's looking to fly France, you have to get down to seriousness. You have to buy the best, even if you've only 3 pair of them. You must buy the best. And at the end of the day, I have been to Holland and Belgium and all over the place, and brought the cream from Belgium and Holland home. There's only 2 pigeons were success here from Holland. It was away up in two Dutch hens. The rest of them are no longer here. They couldn't face the Irish Sea. I couldn't get them out of Bude. I think only got 2 into France. I've never seen them either. So I tend to work with Irish breeds. Now everything's nearly connected. So when somebody says to me, what breed are yours, I can't very well tell them. I just call them Swindells, because they need to live here for a week for to go through all the back breeding, and I have half brother and sister made of them and done all the breeding programme on them. And it would be too difficult. They're mine now. There's 229 pigeons out of France, and we bred them all but 2 of them, if I'm correct, all but 2 of them. Harley bred me one, was off a hen of mine, a cock of theirs, and who else bred me one? That's it, as far as I know. I can't even remember what the other one was. There was one here. Somebody, Hector Cordner gifted my 2 kids, 2 full brother and sister, 2 his first open St. Malo winner. It was only pigeon home the night in the NIPA. I think it was 14. He gave them 2, and one of them was 16th open in St. Malo last year. He's one of the 9 diamonds. That's the other one was bred for me. Couldn't forget Hector. He's such a great record.
Fantastic. So now you're into breeding. What is your regime? You know, what's your feeding and waterway regime, or what do you use?
Well, like I said in the last video or last DVD, the people keep it simple. I use a multivitamin, and that's it. They get multivitamins in the drinkers now. The young ones is out right up till they leave the nest. They get a heavy protein mix that comes from Fraser's, and Fraser's corn for me has been good for me for years. And all them young ones come out like wee baby turkeys. They're beautiful, well feathered, because up here holds the heat of the sun when it's sunny. Only I'm a month early, 2 months early, but the heat up here thrives the young ones. And with the pigeons being in single pens, they're not fighting and bitching and knocking, killing young ones and tramping over pigeons and breaking eggs. The young ones are thriving all the time. So that's just what I do. Now I buy these, and I do mixed grit, minerals, pick stones. They all get their own at the minute they don't, because they're not feeding young ones. Young ones is just out. But every single pen has all the vitamins and minerals and grits all in those boxes. One goes in every pen.
Keep it simple.
Pigeon racing has become too difficult. You need this colour stuff in the drinker at 10 o'clock, and this colour stuff in the drinker at 1 o'clock, and this colour stuff. You'd never be at work. And you'd lost your way. At the end of the day, you know what you need? The best pigeons that you can get your hands on. See all the rest of it? All the rest of it's just a bonus. You need top performance pigeons for top performance races. I told you before, if you breed from club winners, you get club winners. You breed from Sachs winners, you get Sachs winners. You breed from national pigeons, you get national pigeons. National performance pigeons have a different muscle tissue. They have to have, if they're going to lead the front in hard, tough days, with driving rain like today, cold winds. They must have a different muscle tissue to lead that field on a regular basis. And if you look at the results of the King's Cup and Friendship National and all those nationals every year, it's the same faces that's in those results. Give or take an odd man in between who's doing his best with a Van Reek crossed, and you know what I mean. But in general, it's hard national pigeons that does them hard national races.
And all those successful breeders and fanciers throughout the length of Ireland, they'll all be racing Irish pigeons. They're
99% of the performance pigeons in this country are old Irish pigeons, but for the simple reason is they've been tried and tested for so many years. See, what happens is here, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody in particular, we're running to Belgium to buy all these great pigeons. The Belgians aren't coming to us, we're going there. We're classed as tourists out there. They have a customer list throughout the world for serious contender pigeons. Them customers is there. They get a phone call to say, look, there's a pair of youngs here that nice winner. You're on the next list, you get it. See, when we go like going to Blackpool, bring us a pair of Blackpool rock home. So we'll go to the air market, we'll buy 10 for €150, and we're expecting superstars. What we don't realise is, you can't seem to get through to our fanciers here. When you bring in 200 pigeons, 6 or 7 men from the air market at €15 a piece or €10 a piece, they're not done for paramyxole, salmonella, coccoid, canker, paratyphoid. You're bringing another ball of viruses, diseases, different strains of diseases back to Ireland into your own loft. Now, then you go to the races and you lost a third of your convoy in a 100-mile race and you go, oh, wonder what happened there. Must be sickness. Wonder where I got it. I bought it for €150, 10 of them, and I brought them home. And I put them in with 30,000 other ones that's been bought over the years out of it, and neither with no immunity. Our pigeons have no immunity. And we're running to the vets all the time with problems. The best person that I've had in this loft looking after my pigeons is Donald Barry in Dublin, or Drogheda. I call him the Lord Mayor of Drogheda, because he's done such a tremendous job for me. I brought some pigeons in here to try them. They were dead within a week because the immunity in my own birds, in my own loft, they couldn't cope with it. Because of that many bacterial infections, when I give them the Donald test them, he says, Paul, these pigeons, get rid of them. So they had to go. They couldn't survive it anyway. When I sent Dolan my pigeons up, he says, Paul, you have the strongest immunity pigeons that ever come in through our laboratories. And the simple reason is, Dolan, my pigeons are on wire grilled floors down the stairs. They haven't been cleaned out for 7 years. Underneath the floors, it gives them their own immunity. They're immune. Every loft in the world has its own virus or disease. Mine have their own and mine's used to their own. It's a strong immunity they have. So I'll not be bringing any more pigeons in anywhere, if I can help it, unless they come from the same environment as my own. But I'm trying to help you men out there if I can. Be careful what you bring in. If it's €15 on a bottle of coccoid treatment, it's €15. Or €16. It's more expensive than the young'un you bought. You have to wake up and smell the roses in here and say to myself, I'm bringing in viruses and diseases of all denominations here. Why? And this is where you're as a failing man. Get your own immunity into your loft. Go to Dolan Barry and get his laboratory to test your droppings. For years I was blind to tell it too. I just got a bottle of stuff, welted it into the drinker, hope for the best. But I've only got 3 nice ones to fly a year. I can't afford to hope for the best. Because if I get it wrong on those 3 races, my year's over. I have another year to wait. So you sprint the middle distance, man. Get Dolan to test your droppings. Get them checked. Whatever he tells you to medicate with, medicate it. Because your pigeons aren't going to last a long time. You're going to get maybe a season and a half out of them, and then they're lost in a silly comeback race or racing with pigeons full of viruses. And a lot of the sicknesses is caused by having no immunity in your pigeons. You need to build immunity within your own loft. And if you bring in 10 from Fred, and 5 from Sean, and 4 from Lear Market, and 6 from Blackpool, and 6 from down the road, and you put them in the shade in your loft, what did you bring in? Maybe 3,000 different bacterial infections come through your whole loft. You wonder why you have a bad season. All my pigeons are bred here. And what I've done from now on, if I bring a pigeon in from you, or I get the land of a pigeon, it's injected, it's put on a section, it's dosed out, and it's medicated, and it's tested by Dolan Barry before it comes into this loft, before it's paired up in a nest box. That's the criteria from now on. So Dolan is totally control of this place, health-wise. This is the kids' loft that their granny bought them, for so that they can race separately on their own. The kids look after this loft, they scrape it and clean it and catch their young ones and catch their old ones and hamper them and take them to the club on a Friday night. The wooden loft's the kids' loft. And they have won 5 RPR awards. They won 3 to that loft this year.